Let's go straight to the Zohar. This is Zohar, this week's parsha. Rabbi Abba ve'ozel le'kaputkaya. Faraway country. V'have ime Rabbi Yossi, and he was traveling with Rabbi Yossi. Adalo Ozli, as they were going. Chomu chad barnash, they saw one man. The have osi, he was walking. Ureshima chad be'ampui. In his face, they could see some sign. Omer Baba, nasti mahai orcha. Let's walk away from this road. The ha'ampuhi didein. This face, ashidu alei, is saying witness on this person. The over be'ariyaisa de'iraisa, he was over an aroyis min ha'torah. Also, l'stakal b'odem Rosha, we don't want to look at the face of a Rosha, so let's go.
It's not that he saw him doing it, he just saw his...
He saw on his face, you can see on his face.
So you can look on the
It's like the Rebbe, you saw like a rank then.
You can see on the face, you can see exactly what's going on. Exactly.
And the person feel that tzaddik know what he did.
Yeah. The Rebbe never turned his face anyway.
Omer Baba. The Baba said...
Why, you want to say this, that the Rebbe didn't...
Taka the Rebbe didn't, that's the gewalt. Omer Baba. Nasti Mahai, although there was exceptions. There was all people that...
There was one exception I saw. The Rebbe threw him out of the room for $5. It was Yashka for Jews for Yashka, whatever he gave a book. There's a famous video.
Yeah.
That I saw with my own.
There was a few people that didn't want to see them. I told the story. So this Mashiach, that there was a whole. Ben Gurion was already scheduled to come to 770. David Ben Gurion. In the early years, it would have been very nice for Lubavitch back then. The Rebbe canceled it. The Rebbe said, "I don't want to look at his face."
Well, somebody who killed Joe, the Rebbe said,
what was the reason? Did they find the reason?
The Rebbe says there was a few things. Because he was involved in...
a Jew who killed Joe, I don't want to look at it.
But the Altalena?
Few things.
The Rebbe said one of the things with the Altalena, there was a few things that Rebbe didn't want to see him. The Rebbe wanted, now we know, we didn't know all these years about it. The Rebbe wanted it to be very hush, there should be no insults to him.
To keep it quiet.
Keep it quiet, and the Rebbe said try to do it in a way that he doesn't get insulted, that not...
There shouldn't be an after thing.
Yeah, not to have any, not chas v'shom to embarrass him, but the Rebbe didn't want to see him.
That's why a lot of people did not take, when the state was, they didn't take any benefits.
One second.
אבא שלך לא לקח שום תמורה, כל האנשים שהיו בלח"י וזה קיבלו פיצויים, כל הדברים, לא, שום דבר לא קיבלו. He didn't take.
Oh, you got the Kfar Chabad? Oh, no, oh, yeah, it's for you. I have the other copy. Oh, you have already plenty, okay.
Thank you.
Very good. Continue. Begin. You have it too. So again, summarize. Rabbi Abba is going on the road together with Rabbi Yossi. They see a fellow. Rabbi Abba says, let's go on the other side of the street. I don't want to look this guy in the face.
Who is this fellow?
We're soon going to find out. Begin kakas rashim b'apui. He must have done a terrible sin. That's why I see a sign in his face. Amalei Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi said, "Ihai deshima havelek had haviyanuke mai ariyaisish takach bei." If the sign came to his face, and he sinned when he was a child, what kind of erva is there? What kind of sin? So there might be, you might see something, but really he's not guilty. Omar later, Baba said, "Anocha mina banpui." I could see in his face, das hadu, that his face says witness, be'ariyaisa, de'oraisa. In other words, don't tell me. I see it. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I can see in his face.
One said the other.
Yeah.
The other one couldn't see.
Yeah. One saw it, one didn't see. Right, we're going to talk about all those questions. How could one see it and one not?
Not only they didn't see, the other, he tried to protect the guy.
Right.
To say maybe he was a little kid, and he said no.
Correlated Baba, so the Baba called him, Amar le'ema mila, tell me something. Hay reshima de'an poach mahu. What's the sign I see in your face? Omar loin, the man said, "B'matusa minaychu, I beg of you, loy ta'ancher yoter lahu." do not give extra punishment lahu barnash to that person. In other words, talking about himself. Because his sins are very big. Omar Baba Mahu, what's the sin? Omar Le, he said, once I was traveling on the road with my sister, Sharina Bechadosh Pisa, and I was staying in a hotel with the sister. Veravina Chamra, I drank a lot of wine. That night, I did a sin with his sister. Terrible thing. It's a aroyus. This is Betzafra Kamna. In the morning I woke up. Ve'ushpiza kotat bahu gavra. And the owner of the inn was fighting with someone. I walked in between the two. I thought I'm a good Samaritan, to stop the fight. So they both get angry at me. So this guy tied me from this side, and this guy tied me from this side. What does it mean? They tied him, I don't know, with a rope. They punched him in the nose. Basically, he got it from both sides. And this, from that knack, I got a reshima in my brain, in my head.
So why is he saying it's a sin? Why he killed him?
No, because
So
obviously Milmaila, they made it this way that he should end up having a roshim in his face, which is a roshim for the sin. I was saved by a doctor. In other words, he got such a knock in his head, he had such a concussion. If they took him to Maimonides, he would be in a coffin already. But there was one good doctor that he saved him. One good doctor. Omar Lei Man Hayasya, there's a good doctor in town. Who's the doctor? Omar Lei Reb Simloi have it. This was Reb Simloi. Omar Lei Maya Asusa, Yoavloch, what medicine did he give you? Omar Lei Asusa de Nafshe, a spiritual medicine. A nefesh medicine he gave me. Ma'hu yoma, from that day, Adrana b'tshuva, I did tshuva. B'chol yoma, every day, Chazina ampoy b'hat chezu, I look in this one mirror, Ubachina kamei kutshabrichu, and I cry in front of the Eibishter, Duhu Rebbein Olmin, that he is the master of the world, Alahu choyve, for that sin. Ume'inan demayin, and from this water that comes out of my eyes, the tears, Asich nampoy, I wipe my face. I wash my face with the tears.
Good medicine.
So I guess he told him to look in the mirror and to see if the sin is getting wiped off. If not of the problem that tshuva is withheld from you, I would have taken away from your face this sign. But apparently, since tshuva is being held away from you, there's nothing I can do for you. Avol, however, Korinan Alech, I will call upon you, the pasuk, V'sorai v'oinech v'chatosech tochuper, that your sin has been taken away. It's been forgiven. Omar Lei, Reb Abba said, Gimel Zimin Ema, say this pasuk 3 times. Omar Lei Gimel Zimnin, the man said the pasuk 3 times. V'saber Shima, the sign went off his face. Omar Baba Vade Mora Morach Haboi Le'evra Minach. It must be, if the sign went away, that your boss, the Rebbeinu Shalom, the Mora, the Olma, wants to take it away from you. The Vade B'tshuva Ishtakach, now I could see for sure that you were in tshuva. Otherwise the sign would never go away from you. Omar Leisa, the man said, Nadrana Mahayoima, I take a neder from this day, Li'isaska be'iraisa yamama v'leila, to learn Torah day and night. Omar Lei Mashmech, so the Baba said, what's your name? Omar Lei Elozar, his name is Elozar. Omar Lei, so the Baba said, Eil Ozar, that the Eibishter is going to help. Vade Shmoch Gorim, for your name is going to help. And be Gorim, the Lakoch Sayach, v'hava b'sadach, that the Eibishter help you and he will help you. Shadri, Reb Abba, Borche, Reb Abba sent him on his way and he gave him a blessing. And there's many stories in the Zohar. 2 years later they meet again and he's this is a totally new man.
He became the Tana, no?
Yeah. Okay. Now, you read the story, a lot of stories start like they were walking in the road. A lot of the stories in the Zohar have the same rhythm. And a lot of them have the same problems. Like a lot, the story is like spectacular and strange at the same time. Like, why, if they could see on a person's face their sins, so why could Abba see it and Rabbi Yossi doesn't see it? And then, what happened? That Reb Simloi gave him a way to do tshuva and it didn't help. So why is it Reb Abbas did help? And why is it Reb Simloi gave him away from tshuva? It didn't occur to the guy he should learn Torah day and night. And the second time around, it did occur to him that he should learn Torah day and night. And the Iker is what lesson? The Zohar is telling us a story. There's for sure a lesson. What's the lesson we have to take from there?
But the could be the part of the Rabbi what's his name, Rabbi Abba. Abba actually saw him, even though he saw that he has a bad face, by saying that his name is symbolized with help, and he gave him a bracha that it really.
No, but how come Rabbi Yossi couldn't see it? Rabbi Abba sees it, Rabbi Yossi is blind, and it's Simloi gives him tshuva, doesn't help. Rabbi Abba gives him tshuva, it helps. Huh?
No, because he gave him a chisaron. He saw his chisaron, and by seeing his chisaron, he made it that you could see the good in the upstairs.
So why did Rabbi Yossi not see it?
Because he always have.
So why does Rabbi Abba see it? Why did Rabbi Yossi can't see it? Rabbi Abba could see better than Rabbi Yossi?
No, probably that there was a different level, and that Rabbi Yossi didn't want to see bad people, like Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. When he came out from the cave, he was burning people because he was seeing that they are. I don't know.
Let's hear what the Rebbe's father's pshat.
Where is it? Oh, it's
no. I'm just tell it Balpeh because it's too. If we read it inside, it will be. It's Kabbalah and Kabbalah, but just in a kud of it like this.
Sweet.
This Tshuva Tatorah and Tshuva Elah. It's explained in Tanya. Tshuva Tatorah means Toshuv Hei Tatorah. Tshuva is 2 words, Toshuv Hei. You have to return the Hei. So there's Yud Kei Vav Kei, and you have to return the Hei. So Tshuva Tatorah is Toshuv Hei, to return the lower Hei. Tshuva Elah is to return the higher Hei. When a person does a sin, any sin, it's goydem a pgam not only in the lower parts of the neshama, also in the higher parts of the neshama. In Arayas, it's the pogim, the Yesod and then the Das. Yesod is the idea of giving, which has to do with the Aver of the Bris, and that's where a person sins with the Erva. And then it comes, the Tipa comes from the Moya Chadas, En Kishri Elo Ladas. So the pgam, there is Chesed, there is Chochma, Chesed, Netzach, there's Gvura, Hoid, there's Bina, Gvura and Hoid. In the middle line is there is Yesoid and Malchus underneath, and then it goes all the way up to the Das. So when a person does that, such a sin, it's poigim in the Yesoid of the Neshama, and the Malchus of the Neshama, and also in the Das and the Neshama. So the Rebbe's father explains like this: there are tzaddikim, Rabbi Yossi and Reb Simloi is Zoh and Malchus, is Yesoid and Malchus. Rabbi Yossi is the union of Malchus. So Rabbi Simloi is Simla Oita Orka Salma Yosef Atzadik has to do with Ksenas Pasim. So Yesoid is Rabbi Yossi. Malchus is Rabbi Simloi is Yesoid, and Rabbi Yossi is Malchus. Rabbi Simloi gave him a way to do tshuva according to his thing. Tshuva Tatorah, like you learned, the basic thing in Tshuva Tatorah is a person returns to the Eibishter, says, I'm not going to sin anymore. That's the bottom line of Tshuva Tatorah. A person says, I'm not going to sin anymore. In Maisa. And then the person changes the Maisa, Machshava Dibur Maisa, the person changes. And that's the Tshuva Tatorah. When Rabbi Yossi saw him years later, Rabbi Yossi could not see any pagam, because he did 100% and full Tshuva Tatorah. His Tshuva Tatorah was complete. There was nothing lacking. Rabbi Yossi couldn't see a chesaron in Tshuva Elah, because his darge, Tshuva Elah, it has a shaykhs to Bina. and that wasn't his darge, so he couldn't see it. Fakir. If he saw Roishem, he was Malamed Schus. Because anyway, he can't elevate this person to his, because he can't pick him up higher than what he is. So if he sees there is, so he was Malamed Schus. But Rebbe is the union of Tshuva Eloah. Rebbe is Bina, Chochma, Bina is Tshuva Eloah. Tshuva Eloah basically is when a person doesn't only change their action and attitude. Tshuva Eloah is the person rewires their whole brain. Because a new person. It's not just cosmetics. Push it, a new hard drive. Everything is new. Take the old brain, chuck it. That's a nayazach. That's why the Alter Rebbe says that Tshuva Eloah is a person learns Torah lishma. Lishma. Because when a person learns the Torah, there's a yichud niflo with the Eibishter. There's no bigger yichud Eibishter than learning Torah. Torah is the most intense. So when a person learns so much Torah day and night, so their head, if they're learning it lishma, the whole hard drive is new. It's not just cosmetics. It's a totally Tshuvat Torah is the action, the attitude. The person's externals is changed, but totally rewiring the person, that's through Tshuva Eloah. And Tshuva Eloah is connected with learning Torah Yom V'Layla Lishma. So because Reb Abba comes from the level of Abba ve'ema, Chochma and Bina, Reb Abba had a shaykhs to Chochma Eloah, Bina Eloah, to Tshuva Eloah. He could see the person that Tshuva, but he didn't get there. That's why there's a strange thing in the Zohar. He says, I see, he says, I could look in your face, and if not the Tshuva was being held back, I could take away the sign. In other words, now that Tshuva, double negative, right? Now that there is a sign in your face, I cannot take away the sign. Okay? Then he says, okay, say the pasuk 3 times. 1, 2, 3. That's it. The sin is off. What happened? He just said, I can't take away your sin. So what happened now? Because now he picked him up to the level of Tshuva Eloah. In Tshuva Torah, there does not necessary to have a commitment to learn Torah day and night. But in Tshuva Eloah, there is necessary to have a commitment to learn Torah day and night.
Okay. Interesting.
That's the basic nakuda and the Rebbe's father's answer.
But over here, he got a shortcut. Just by seeing him, he had the ability to lift him up right away.
Because Rebbe had it in him. So because Rebbe was hard, it was hard.
So why
for
he
him.
wouldn't take Yossi with him, Rabbi Yossi?
Because there wasn't a darg of Rabbi Yossi.
Yeah, Rabbi Yossi didn't need it. He's almost. Rabbi
Yossi didn't have any problems, but he had the problem. So he and the Tshuva Torah he did, and he was crying every night and washing his face with the tears. But it didn't tell. It only healed the Malchus. The Zohar Malchus was healed. The lower part of his neshama was healed, but the higher part of the neshama was not healed. And Rabbi Abba could see that.
The doctor that told him to do that.
The doctor was Rabbi Simloi.
Rabbi Simloi, so he knew how to do Tshuva Torah.
Tator, because
He explained to him how to do Tshuva Torah.
Tshuva Torah.
Rabbi Abba didn't see Tshuva Torah. Rabbi Abba looking at Tshuva Eloah.
Right.
He didn't reach there.
He didn't reach there.
So
Later on, he reached there
through the Baba.
That's it.
Yeah.
So what level did I said that we are?
Wait till you hear the sicha. So in the sicha, verbringen is hachona to Lag Ba'omer, Kdoshim and Hey. The Rebbe at that time used to give.
Here before.
Right. And these verbringens were very long verbringens. That time the Rebbe used to say a shtickle Rambam, a Rashi sicha, at Pirkei Avos, a beer in Zohar.
That's 6 hours.
It was like it was quite long verbringens. That was like a long period of time. It was a maimer. That was very long verbringens. Lametes, Mem, Aleph, and Beis. 1985, a regular Shabbos verbringen could be just in like 60 pages. This verbringen. So it was a summer. It was a long day.
1985 is Memov. No.
Middle of the winter. So the Rebbe's beer was like very simple. The Rebbe says like this: we have 2 things here. One is that Rabbi Abba could see and Rabbi Yossi can't see. Another point is Rabbi Simloi could help this guy only in a lower level of tshuva, and Rabbi Abba could help him in a higher level of tshuva. What do we learn from this? Number one, the Rebbe says, from the first thing is where the B'yosi, this thing where the B'yosi says, nah, maybe that's not really a sin. Maybe we could give a limud schus. So the Rebbe said, we see sometimes people look at Gedolei Yisrael that had like a very strict demeanor. So they said, look, that Gadol Yisrael was stark. I also have to be stark. I have to be a kanoi. And therefore, if I see that a Jew is empty, I have to call him out. I have to call him out on this. So the Rebbe says that you see, even Rabbi Yosi was trying to. Rabbi Yosi could see there was a problem, but he was trying to melamed schus. But Rabbi Abba not. Why Rabbi Abba not? Because Rabbi Abba knew that he could pick him up to the level of Tshuvei Law. So why? What's the point of being melamed schus? Because Rabbi Abba knew that if he's going to call the guy over and ask him what was your sin, and if the guy will be honest and will open up, he could heal him. So therefore, the Rabbi Abba wanted to either I'll walk away and won't look at him, or I'll talk to him. But I'm not going to ignore this fact that I see it. But so the Rebbe said like this: whenever you look, if you look at a person and you see that an ugliness, you see chas v'shalom something that stinks, you have to think to yourself, am I the darga of Rabbi Abba that I could recognize something that's really evil? Maybe I should try to be melamed schus like Rabbi Yosi. To be at the level of Rabbi Abba, at least all Thursday night I learned Torah. I did Thursday night, it says in Chassidus at the time to do Tshuva Torah. The Alter Rebbe says, even though we are too weak to do Tikkun Chatzos every night, a person should try to do Tikkun Chatzos Thursday night. So a person Thursday night learns Torah. He does Tikkun Chatzos. Shabbos he does Tshuvei Law, because Thursday night you're supposed to do Tshuva Torah. Shabbos is doing Tshuvei Law. And then you see about someone else that stinks, and you're like Rabbi Abba, if you can ask him, what did you sin? And the guy's he's gonna see it's coming from your heart. He's gonna tell you right away, this is I slept with my sister. Do you think someone in the street would tell you honestly such a thing?
You're gonna psychopath.
Do you think exactly? But this guy, when Rabbi Abba walked over and said, I could see something in your face, he felt that Rabbi Abba really meant it. He didn't know who Rabbi Abba was. He right away opened up. He said, this is the sin. I slept with my sister. So if you're not in the level of Rabbi Abba, then try to do the way of Rabbi Yosi. Melamed schus and ayid.
Chalam has said that Chabad doesn't do Tikkun Chatzos, right?
Okay.
So this is what
I don't know. You have to ask every individual.
That's why Shmuel's grandma's father, when he went to the kibbutzim, he had a question. The Chevra used to say, point out to them that they're doing wrong. And what the Rebbe says, you can turn around, you can make it worse.
Exactly.
So it's interesting that there are some people that are able to turn those far away people to a better place, which there's a lot of Baalei Tshuva coming through, and a lot of people just the opposite. It turns them off. It's interesting that you have to.
So if you know that you're like Rabbi Abba, the minimum that you have to know is that Thursday night you learned Torah all night. You did Tikkun Chatzos, the minimum of Tshuva Torah.
Then you can
Shabbos, Tshuvei Law. The Gemara says a story at the end. The Rebbe says the story at the end of Avodah Zarah that Rabbi Yehuda came with his servant, and they're standing in front of the king, and the king took out the knife and he cut the fruit for Rabbi Yehuda. And before he cut the fruit, he put the knife 10 times in the ground to kasher it. It was only used. It wasn't used with tarfus. It was 10 times in the ground was good enough. Shvur Malka. And then his servant said, but for me, you let me use the knife before you koshered it. So how come for the Yehuda you kosher the knife? So he said, quiet. Itker ma'avadet b'hurta. Remember what you did last night? So Rashi says that they were, the parsim, they were very gracious hosts. So if they had an oirach, they would send a zoyna by night.
Oh.
So Boti, the Evet, he accepted the free gift. Versteht sich, Yehuda didn't accept the gift. So therefore he said, Itker ma'avadet b'urta, remember what you did last night. You accepted the zoyna, right? It's a haknish and chainik about kashering the knife. So the same thing here that Rebbe says.
This is a slave from
Rabbi Yehuda.
Oh.
Right. The Rashi says it was mutter for him to do it because he was only an evet. But anyway, the Melech said, "Well, Akta Chainik, you want to know if it was kosher mahadrim min mahadrim." The Zohar you didn't ask if it was mahadrim and mahadrim, so don't bother me. So the same thing here is like the Rebbe. A person has to know, what did I do last night? Was I up all Thursday night? And I did take a chatzos. The Shabbos is oisis tshuva toshu, the higher level of tshuva elah. And now I want to.
As a mutar for Bnei Noach to have relations with.
No, this guy was an evid, so it was complex. It might have been mutar for him to do it, yeah. But B'meila, the Yid always has to try to be like Rabbi Yossi. That's one lesson. Second lesson is in the fact that we see that each person was able to pick up to tshuva to their level. Reb Simloi was only able to pick up to his level. Reb Abba could pick up to his level. The Rebbe says sometimes you try to influence. You ask someone, would you like to put on film? The guy says no. And you're disappointed. The Rebbe says, you know why? Sometimes it's happening because when you're putting on film, you're not thinking about Shibud HaMoyach V'Alev, to dedicate my heart and my head to the Eibishter. You're thinking about the price of rice in China. You're thinking about what's going on here, there. You're in Westchester, you're in the Bronx, you're in Long Island, you're in New Jersey. You're all over the place. But you're not thinking Shibud HaMoyach V'Alev. So therefore, when you're asking the other person to put on film, he says no, because he feels that who are you to ask him to put on film? So then a person like Reb Abba, or a person of Abba who's holding by Tshuva law, when he goes over to a person in the street, he says, "Excuse me, sir, I see something on your forehead. What do I see?" The guy is not ashamed. The guy opens up right away and he says the most terrible sin, but he's not ashamed because he feels that Reb Abba, it's coming from a true place. So maybe you're trying to influence someone, but he's feeling it's not coming from a true place. So a person's going to say, okay, you know what, forget about it. Never mind. I'm not going to try to influence other people. I'm going to try to work on myself. The Rebbe says, no, that's a mistake. You could be a shliach, you could be a shliach of Reb Abba, and in every generation there's tzaddikim like Reb Abba. You could be a shliach of Reb Abba, a shluch shalodim kamoisa. If you'll ask the man to put on film, he'll put on film because you're a shliach of Reb Abba. So you're going to say, so why is the man, you're now a shliach of Reb Abba, and the man says, no, what's going on? But now I'm a shliach of Reb Abba. It must be your personal arrogance came in the way, and he doesn't see that you're a shliach of Reb Abba. But if you'd see in your face that you're really a shliach of Reb Abba, he'd roll up his sleeve, and he'd right away allow you to put on film.
That's the compared to the story that you told in Shabbos with the beer company.
What is it exactly?
Everybody tried. All the Lubavitchers before tried to influence him.
Right.
I'm sure he's not the first one who passed his office.
Right. What does it? So therefore, but the bottom line is a person should still not give up. Shouldn't say, listen, I'm not going to try to influence other people. I have a lot of gaiva in the way. I'm not. We have to try our best to be a shliach for the Bab. It's just that if it doesn't work, we shouldn't get disappointed. We should realize that our own, you can only pick up someone to where you're standing really. But if not, because you're shliach of Reb Abba. So, just to make sure to push our own gaiva to the yeshus on the side and be a shliach of Reb Abba.
This connect with a principle that was famous for maybe 1,000, 2,000 years, that kashut asmecha.
But the
Rebbe, I remember, said,
right. Don't wait for that. Exactly.
To fix yourself.
Exactly. So that's what Rebbe is saying here. But the trick is to be a shliach of Reb Abba. Reb Abba already took care of him. Tshuva Tato plus his Tshuva Eloah. So be a shliach of Reb Abba. You be a Reb Abba's shliach. There is a story that my grandfather said many times. Unbelievable story. His father used to learn a lot the Derech HaChaim of the Mittler Rebbe. And it's a very, very strong, it's a sefer that's very heavy. Very heavy. So he used to learn that sefer, and he learned it many times, again and again and again, to the extent if you even would look, if you walked by a bookcase and he saw the Derech HaChaim, he would start to cry. So the Rebbe Rashab told him that he's not allowed to learn any more Derech Chaim. Not allowed to open up. So my great-grandfather was upset, that he's trying to do tshuva. Now the Rebbe Rashab is telling him that he can't do tshuva. So the Rebbe Rashab smiled, he said, come on, Chonye, if the herst is from mir, the herst me piagvur. If you hear it from me, you're hearing it from the Almighty. And he said this pasuk, this pasuk that he brings here in the Zohar, V'sor aveinecha v'chatos chatochupa. Your sin has been wiped away and it's been forgiven. So there's no point, you're wasting your time learning Derech Chaim.
That's strong.
Huh? So comes this week. That's Lag BaOmer, and that's why we're learning the Zohar. So we're definitely the Rebbe Abba from this door wants that we should be his shluchim to pick up Yidden to tshuva, not stam tshuva tato, but tshuva ilah. And then we say that the person is not. I'm asking a person. I'm trying to influence him, whatever it is. I want to say you should send this kid to a better yeshiva, to a camp, trying to influence a yid, to whatever it is, to grow, beruchnis, and the person's not listening to me. So the answer is because I have to be in the level of Reb Abba, and if I'm not, I should be a shliach of Reb Abba. And if my own yeshus get in the way, I have to push the yeshus in the way, and push it out of the way. And this week, the bottom line is, this week is a very special time. Thursday is a time to go to the Tzion HaKodesh of the Rebbe, and we should influence other Yidden also to go to the Tzion HaKodesh of the Rebbe. And if they're not going to go, we should tell them that they can write a note and write the names of their families and themselves, and we should bring the Kvittelach and the Tzetlach and the Panim for them, because Lag BaOmer is a gewaldige Tag, and this is for us Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, and this is a special time. Chad Katiris Katarna.
So you're saying this week?
Yep, this week is Thursday.
But you have to go on Thursday?
Yeah, you can go Wednesday night.
I'm going to go Wednesday night.
You go Wednesday night, you could take the family, or if you don't take the family, you could have the family write even little children. You can have them write a pan. They write their name and they write their mother's name, and they could write whatever they want. And if it's private, you tell the kids you won't read it. And this way, they'll be misyached with the Reb Abba, just like this fellow who had a terrible ailment, and there was a Reif in the Nefashos, and then there was the supreme Reif in the Nefashos. Reb Samloi healed him in the lower level, but Reb Abba healed him, mamish, made him a new person. So b'meila, so if we want to connect to Reb Abba, the Reif in the Nefashos, this is the day, this week on Thursday.
My Yerushalayim, the Babich are putting a table with tefillin and Techana Markazit for a long time. So this group, Yeshiva Bochrim, decided we're going to also put a Duchan tefillin across the street, in competition with the Chabad. Okay. So these soldiers come to the passerby, they saw, they said, "Bo, there's no tefillin." Lord, he crossed the street, he got to the Babich, he put tefillin. Get to him, he said, "Come on, I ask you for this is tefillin, why by me you don't put, by him you put?" He said, "He did it for me, you do it for yourself."
So we have to
he felt it.
We have to bring this week with Mizaka Yidden. They should go to the oil, and if they're not going to the oil, they should send a letter with us. They should be at the oil. There's a beautiful story published this week. I bought the Beis Mashiach to read the article about his father. So there's now a lot of Frenchies that are moving to Israel because all over Eretz Yisrael, Tanya, Shamayim. So you have this, right? So they have a shliach there in Yerushalayim that's beikar for Yidden from France, and he said a moedidik story. He came to Avshalom to the Rebbe, 1975, and there was a Baal Tshuva. He came to the Rebbe first time. It was very exciting. He had a problem with the ticket to return. It was, it's such a amazing difference. Today, 20 years ago, or 30 years ago, you went to the travel agent, you went into an office, because it's a different world. Who knows? There's still travel agents that live Machlal?
Yeah.
Do they exist? There's still such a thing?
Yeah.
Today you go online, you book your ticket, you end it, you print it out, you come to the kiosk, you going. So the problem was that he called the airline, and no one speaks French, and he doesn't speak one word of English. So meantime, he's he's outdoors, and he's fumbling in his pockets for another quarter and another quarter. You remember that? Like you get a few seconds, and if you can't get that quarter quick enough, then you lose the phone call. Today it's a different world. And he's trying with his French, and no one's helping him. So he hears someone says, "Can I help you?" Turns around. This fellow looks like good. In those days, you had those hippies, and good, frisch, gesund, and meshuggah. And this guy says, "Can I help you?" He says, "Sure." The fellow speaks English and French, so this fellow gets on the phone, works everything out. Baruch Hashem, everything's worked out. So he starts talking to this fellow. This fellow was born in France, grew up till 10 years, some place like a cult, some group of people, totally like non-conventional. To the extent his father, he said he for sure doesn't know who's his father. There's a whole group of people. Anyone could be his father. And his mother is also not sure who's his mother. Elamai, there was one woman that used to look after him a little more than the other women. So he suspects that was his mother. And she once told him that she's Jewish. So at the manga found up that maybe he's also Jewish. And he was 10 years old, he ran away from this group. And so wherever he came, he was, he used to ask for donations. So he came to this place, he said, "I'm Jewish." So people were very nice to him, Jewish people. So he thought that this is a good thing. If he says he's Jewish, people are nice to him. And they bring him Shabbos to shul and this. So he developed this thing. He likes to stump the rabbi. If he meets a Rav, he likes to debate, he likes to ask questions. He said, "I get everyone really angry." He said, there's a rabbi, he's now a shliach in Cannes, in France, where the film festivals are. Yeah. Beautiful Chabad house he has. Beautiful, beautiful Chabad house. I was there many years ago. And he's the son of the shliach in Casablanca, Rabbi Marsov. He says, "Rabbi Marsov, I just can't manage to get him angry." He has Parkinson's. So he says, I can't get him angry. I can't. So the Bekitza says, this Rabbi Matasov, this rabbi has a rabbi? I thought he's a rabbi. And I says, no, this rabbi has a rabbi, the Lubavitcher Rebbe. And I'm going there tonight. Tonight is a Fabrengen, is Yud Beis, Yud Gimel Tammuz. Do you want to come? No problem. He's not in a rush. He takes his peckle. They go on the subway. They come to Crown Heights. So he buys him this little, they used to have, he comes from 70. Radio. They have these little radios. You put the thing in your ear. You remember them? Yeah. They used to have translation Hebrew, French, English. Yiddish was the... So they had a few languages. And the kid said it was a Fabrengen, and they came early, so they got a good seat close to the Rebbe. And it was electrifying. And the Rebbe at that time spoke things that have to do with rebellion of the youth. And the Rebbe spoke about meditation, and the Rebbe said that meditation essentially is a very important tool in life. It's just that certain cults and groups and societies attach to it certain names of avodah zarah and certain things that are foreign, that are not really part and parcel of what meditation really is. And meditation, the Rebbe analyzed what meditation is. That meditation is to think about the unity of the world, of the oneness of Hashem, but that's very tranquil and that's very good for a person. But then there's this avodah zarah attached to kids. This guy came out of the Fabrengen, and it had a very profound effect on this guy. He wants to meet the Rebbe. So he says he prepped him how to go to the secretary of the Rebbe to get yechidus. If he'll just come in, tell him he wants to stump the rabbi, he's not going to get a yechidus. So he gave him a little prep of how to ask for yechidus. He came, he asked for yechidus, he got an appointment for yechidus. Wow. After yechidus, he meets him outside 770, and he was sitting, that tree right in front of the Rebbe's window. He's sitting under the tree and he's crying. So he says, "What happened?" He said he came into the Rebbe's room. Before he could say one word, the Rebbe looked at him, and the Rebbe says, "You are Jewish." In English. you are Jewish. Because he always had this thing in his mind.
He's not sure.
He wasn't sure. He's Jewish. He's not Jewish. You know, it was worthwhile saying he was Jewish, but he didn't know if he was Jewish. The Rebbe looked at him like Rebbe. The Rebbe looked at his face, and the Rebbe told him, "You're Jewish." So Bekitzer, he had big Yisodus, and that was it. He didn't see this guy ever again. He said 2 years later, he was living in Toulouse, and Erev Shabbos, someone knocks on the door, opens the door, is this fellow. And he's still like with the hair, and he has a beard, and he still looks, dressed with the hippie clothing. And he's how did you get here? He said, is your name Zuckerman? He said, well, Zuckerman, don't you remember me? I met you at Yechidus. The kid said, turns out that when he walked out of Yechidus, he decided that he's keeping Shabbos every single Shabbos. That was his Jewishness. He's keeping Shabbos. But he's the fort. He's bouncing around all over the place. He's traveling from place to place. Wherever he comes, tries to find Chabad Shliach, a rabbi from family. He came to Toulouse. The Shliach was in the summer. The Shliach wasn't there. The Orthodox rabbi wasn't there. So they sent him to the Bnei Akiva Shliach. He made a mistake at the address. And he ended up coming to this fellow's house, Yitzchak Chaviv. So he said that he invited him to his home, and he let him stay in his house for a couple of months. He learned with him olive bays, bought him a Pirat film, and Bekitzer, the guy left a Fruma Yid. He said he never saw him afterwards. He has no idea what happened with this fellow, but he definitely knows when he left his home after a couple of months, he was a Fruma Yid. It's unbelievable that the Rebbe saw right away. They didn't say one word. He came into the Yechidus. The Rebbe looked at his face, and the Rebbe told him that he was Jewish. There's a in Crown Heights. There's a Choshev Erov, son of Rabbi Garelik, Shliach in Milano, Gershom Garelik. He was here once. Levi Garelik. And I'm not sure he told the story, but he told me the story more than once. Unbelievable story. There was a goy, the city council in Milano, that was helping a lot to Chabad in Milano. And he was in New York. So they brought him $5. So he was very excited. He get $1 from the Rebbe. And the Rebbe turned to Rabbi Garelik's father, to Rabbi Gershom Garelik. He says, why are you not converting him?
Whoa.
He couldn't believe it. This from the Rebbe. And I guess he said, we'll work on it. They went out. The guy asked what was going on. So he said, the Rebbe wants to know why I'm not converting you. So he said, yeah, why not? They came next week when they came and they told the Rebbe that he's going for a few weeks. He's going to learn in Morristown. So the Rebbe said that they should expedite it. They should make sure that the Geirus happens very quickly. The Geirus happens very quickly. The guy decided he's not going back to Milan. He was staying in New York. They expedited his Geirus. He had a Mila. Then he went to Mikveh. He got a Jewish name. He was Megayed, and a short time after that, it was like miraculous. He died.
He died, yeah.
Whoa.
He was a young man.
Nobody understood only the Rebbe.
Because it's unusual to do it fast.
Right.
Because you have to wait a year.
Yeah, it's unusual. The Rebbe was so against conversions. The Rebbe saw that this fellow was Jewish.
Rebbe was against it.
Oh, the Rebbe was Yehudi. The Rebbe was false conversions.
False.
Yeah. Phony,
yeah,
pushing conversions.
Yeah.
Not real conversions. It was a gaydus.
Yeah.
But this was unheard of.
Oh.
This is unheard of. The Rebbe saw. The Rebbe looked. This is the koyach of Rebbe Abba. The Rebbe Abba could look at a person's face. Sometimes Rabbi Yossi doesn't see it, but Rebbe Abba sees it. And Rebbe Abba, because he's at the level of Rabbi Yossi, Rebbe Simloi, at the level of Tshuvat Torah, so they can only pick up a person to Tshuvat Torah. But Rebbe Abba could see on the face, even when it's missing in the slightest bit. And Rebbe Abba has the koyach to pick up a Yid to Tshuva Elah. And even if a person is not a Baba, but he's a shliach of a Baba, can pick up a yid to have that level of Tshuvei law. So l'chaim, that this is a special week, the week of Lag BaOmer. So we should go be shluchim of Rabbi Abba, from our Rabbi Abba, from our Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and we should go to the oil, and we should be makasha as many yidden as we could to the Ilona Dechaya. L'chaim.